time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone, bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light them up.
Welcome back to Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones, and this week we have a special co-host because Bryant's got a knee surgery thing. He's still recovering, and I will give you the report. He's doing fantastic. In fact, we came up and recorded this show at the Leaf, and out of nowhere, boom, Bryant was like tapping on my shoulder. I look over, and I see a 400-year-old man with a walker. And I was like, dude, what happened? You're back. And he's like, yeah. And he sits down, but he's got a walker that, like, are you aware of how loud it is when you're walking down the hall?
Yeah.
It's like, there's a 400-year-old man.
He has all the strength of a single half middle-aged man.
Tell the truth. Right now.
From here up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't even know that it's fair to include his boobs. But because, the boobs are very powerful.
They are. It's unfair not to include them.
In the entire world, boobs
I'm back, people.
are powerful.
For 1 week.
Hey, what's up, Bryant? Bryant is back.
For 1 week.
So, yeah, Bryant is back. And so, he's got some pain. He's got stir crazy.
Yeah.
And his wife is tired of his fucking ass being at home every day. That's
truly what the issue was, yeah. See,
they went out to eat today, and she's like, what are you going to do the rest of the day?
She said, you want to go to the Leaf? I was like, you'll take me to the Leaf? She's like, yeah, I'll take you to the Leaf. It's like, oh, thank you.
Listen, you don't have to go to the Leaf, but you can't stay
home.
So.
Not today.
It's only 107 out, but if you want to sit outside, I'm down with that. But if that's not going to work for you, I need to drop your ass off at the Cigar Lounge.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Which, it's funny because on a regular basis, I'll walk into the living room. My wife's watching something on one of those streaming networks, and I'll be like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, what are you doing home? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, aren't you going to the Leaf? I'm like, oh, yeah, I will go to the Leaf.
Yeah.
Because, like, your wife is like, I need some time.
Yep. I need my time.
And you can imagine that Miss Jones thinks that often.
Often.
I am not in the Wizard of Oz. That's what my wife says. Anyway, let's talk about what we're smoking.
I was smoking the Roma Craft Blonde Irish.
Okay. Well, so far today, I did another show. I'm not going to talk about that one. It's not politically correct. But this one, I always try to...
Yeah, this is a paragon of virtue
like
and
this
propriety.
Even though it's explicit, we still maintain a certain, honorable ability.
Amen.
Amen, brother.
Yes.
Bring it on in. Bring it on in. And when I say bring it on in, I mean, give me some cash.
Talk to your sponsors.
So... Anyway, I am smoking the Tabanero Sun-Grown, and I smoked it in the Robusto. Fantastic smoke. Mm-hmm. Jordan shows up. He doesn't have a cigar, and he was going to go get one, and I said, no, I'll just smoke this. And he has, and I believe it's the Toro of the Bella Artes Maduro by AJ, and that's a great smoke.
It is. It's funny. It's the first couple of minutes of it. There's a little bit of spice to it, and then that kind of mellows down, and now you got some.
You got some different earthiness, maybe a little bit of light leather, and then what's funny about that is when you get back to the final third, you're going to be like, oh, here it comes again that we had on the front end, except now it's going to be times 4.
Okay, so we're going to get the heavy spice.
Right. And you'd be like, oh, wow. So it takes you on a little ride. And, that's an AJ thing. AJ's freaking badass. If you were to say who is the best blender out there, some people might say Saka.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say Johnny Walker, but okay.
I'm not a Johnny Walker fan. Are you?
I mean, if I'm going to get a blended Scotch, then yeah, it's probably a Johnny Walker. Although, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Shackleton, which is a reblend of what they took to Antarctica. That's why it's called Shackleton. I usually get a couple of bottles of that brought in by Corey. You know Corey.
Yeah.
Frequent friend of the program. And so he brings me a couple bottles of that every month or so. So that's when I'm blended, that's
What is that soft drink he brings?
Oh,
like spiked.
Yeah, spiked. It's
not
no,
spiked.
It's spiked to us because
I said it's
hyped.
like that.
It's like that, but yet it's
what is it?
Spritz or fucking Tab or something. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was like
I can see the can.
autumn anus.
Oh my God.
Something like fun. You know what I mean? Autumn anus. That's what because when I drank it, I was like, dude, this is, and I don't drink soft drinks. Like I never drink soft drinks.
So he stays at my house when he's here, and Corey does not travel light. That's the first thing.
Really?
Not even close. He brings a lot of shit with him. Usually, there's a giant suitcase, and then there's this very flowery, very feminine fucking laptop bag that has the world's oldest HP in it, because he owns a business and he should have a computer that costs $12 at a fucking that you can buy from the counter in a liquor store.
Instead, he carries a 40-pound laptop that was the absolute top of the line back in like 2006.
I was thinking like 98, but yeah, that's so he's got that, and then he'll always have like a big fucking tub with about 8 sacks of like random snacks he's brought for himself. Not shitting you. And then he'll bring in like a 12-pack of the fucking whatever that soft drink is from Indiana.
Where is he sleeping in your house?
So I've got a guest bedroom. I let him stay in the guest bedroom. Sometimes he passes out in my office
is it
watching
like
TV.
Part of the house, or is it like,
No, it's part of the house proper. And so I let him in there.
How long have you known Corey?
I've known Corey longer than anybody in this town. I've known Corey since 2003.
Okay, so that's like 19 years.
But it goes back to the
so
Air Force
19
days.
Yeah, we were both in the Air Force. We were in the same squadron. That's how we met. And then we lived together. So our barracks, our dorm rooms were
so
right
you and Corey actually lived together?
Well, in the barracks.
Yeah, the barracks. So it's like a dorm. And so he and I shared a wall for fucking years. Like, he was the guy on the other side of the wall. And then we moved out.
Oh, you were on one side. He was on the other.
He was on the other. And then, And so then when we moved off base, we got apartments that shared a fucking wall. Because
there's a theme
Why
here.
wouldn't we?
So there was a numbering system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If like if you're 4B, now you're going to be 16.
You got a 50-50 chance of hitting Corey's apartment if you know where I live or if you know where he lives. Get to me. And so, I've known Corey forever. He and I have had many a trip together.
You not only knew of him because he was on the other side of the wall, you actually spent time with him, like doing.
We got apartments deliberately in the same place, and then they were like, "Oh, the one next to you is empty," and I was like, "He'll take that one." Which was handy because whenever I'd get drunk and not be able to like find my key, I'd be like, Corey, let me into that, let me into my place, or the reverse sometimes, as it were.
Gotcha.
So you have to have these backup plans.
At any time after getting to know Corey on that type of level, did you ever say to yourself, "This guy could get me in trouble"?
Oh yeah, well, there's no question about that.
Okay.
I mean, none whatsoever. I think that's why we became friends, is because we're both terrible influences on each other. And
and I see that about Corey.
Yes.
Like, Corey is a, whatever happens is good type guy.
Yep. Until, there's a moment you can hit with Corey where he'll kind of lose his shit a little bit. But it's very hard to get there. But I've seen that happen a few times, and that's fun. But you're also just as likely
and that's because he really, when you break it down, he is OCD to the max.
No, not.
No, you think that, but he is. But it all evolves around just his major interests, like old cars.
Warbirds, World War II paintings of the
right
drawings.
Not across the board, but certain areas, he is OCD, dude.
Yeah, all right. I can see it with his hobbies. But I'm no different. Like, if you give me something I'm really interested in, I can go fucking nuts on it.
Like what? Like what's one of your hobbies?
My hobbies. Okay, so I mean, just going off of like anything like sci-fi fantasy. Huge nerd about that. Love that.
Like movies, series, cartoons,
books primarily.
Okay.
You know, guns for a while and still pretty much a bit. I don't stay as current on what's coming out and what's going on, but I like my guns. I've done a lot of work on my own, built my own, that sort of thing.
Are you originally from Texas?
I am not.
Where are you from?
Georgia.
Oh, okay. So a southern state.
That's right.
You know, the whole gun thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we love our guns.
I mean, I don't own any because they're dangerous, so I've, of course, never owned any. But yes, we're right to...
Now, to be fair, though, you have shot them.
Yeah, you know, I mean, theoretically it's possible. Get a warrant.
Weren't you?
He's you're asking too many questions.
You were in the military.
He was in the Air Force.
I mean, I've heard of them before.
All right.
No, I've shot many guns. I used to do some shooting competitions. I may own a few, possibly.
Yeah, I can't discuss that myself.
Sure.
If you ask me, I'm like, yeah, I love guns. I support guns. That's all I can say legally. You know, I don't want to say that, you know, the dude over at Waco had nothing on me. I don't want the FBI showing up. The ATSF showing up.
Rob, baby, come on. This is a podcast. This is a small, intimate.
Right.
This is a small, intimate circle.
You know, you got some dude that's like hearing this show going, oh my God, I got to contact the FBI.
No, this is a small, safe space. Your dozen listeners are not going to have a problem with you having a gun.
He said a dozen.
What are you worried? You're worried you're going to get inundated with a letter? A letter?
Yes. I've seen the documentary on Ruby Ridge, and yes, I am.
Well, if you disapprove of Rob's theoretical stance on guns, I encourage you to write to, what's our email here?
What is our? Did I give a stance?
He said, I like guns.
I said I like guns. I like guns.
That is a stance. Yeah, that is the qualification for a stance.
Hey, if that's my stance, I am all over it. Thank you. Now I know my stance. I like guns.
Did I give a stance? Yeah, motherfucker, you said I like
guns.
He's so wily. It's hard to nail him down on anything.
You know,
I love it.
The fucking Teflon Don over here.
I love it.
I don't know if you know this, but there's like topics that we avoid.
Okay.
Because
you should give me the rules of the room.
Rules of engagement before I get on the mic.
Yeah, what do we?
That's why I started a new show, because I do not like being censored. I do not like being censored.
Okay, what should I steer clear of?
I'm not going to mention it.
Well, that's tricky for me.
I doubt you will cross these delicate 3-inch lines that everyone thinks that are 8. But
you have had a conversation with me in our many years of knowing each other. Like, you think this is
many? We had a conversation last night.
We just did.
Yeah,
we just did.
In fact, earlier on the show, I mentioned you on the other show.
Uh-oh.
And you know what I said? You want to hear
it? Yeah, I should.
I said last night I was hanging out at the Leaf, and Jordan was talking about some wild drinking escapades while he was out of town. And I thought to myself, do you realize that I've gone out on escapades that passengers on my journey were in the back seat and they were either crying because they thought they were about to die or they were praying
for the sweet release of death,
because they thought they were going to die. And the next day when we went out, I'm driving again. We go somewhere, we have dinner. We go somewhere else, and I see a cop, and I freak out a little bit. And I was like, hey, how about you drive? And everybody in the vehicle was like, yeah. And I was like, hey, what the fuck? They were like, dude, I've been back here praying every day. And I was like, what a dick. So then I let the other guy drive. We're driving along, and then the guy in the back seat's like, I just want to say that, I really needed this. I'm from California. I appreciate you letting us hang out with you. And me and my wife have been having trouble. And I said, dude, this ain't fucking Oprah. You can shut the fuck up and enjoy the ride.
I don't care about your personal problems, bud. I don't even know your fucking name.
Boom. Anyway, where were we at? We were talking about what we were smoking.
Yes.
What are you smoking, Brian?
I told him the Roma Craft House, the Blind Iris.
And where did that come from?
Jay.
Jay always hooks you up with good shit.
Jay's got the good shit.
I told him, said, hook me up, and he brought this out, and I was like, thank you.
Let me tell you guys something. First of all, Jay still has, I think 2 or 3 boxes of the Roma Craft 2022. and I'm being told not to tell anybody, but too late.
But not by Jay, so it's really fine.
No, but he has a box. So he did get a box, and he's telling us no, so maybe he can get another box. You got a box, don't be greedy. See, he says shut up. Do you realize?
Don't let yourself be censored.
I bought a box when they came out from Jay, and first of all, right out the gate, it was $140 and like 18 cents.
Mm-hmm.
If you go online and search that product and you find it, it's going to be like 140, 150, 160 because they're hard to get. Mm-hmm. And Jay's not price gouging because that would be a douchebag thing to do. You know what I mean?
I do.
Like Jay has a certain level of standards.
Oh, yeah.
That keeps him from making more money that other people would be happy to take no matter what.
Oh, yeah. Jay's, I'll say this, and not just because I've known Jay for a long time, but I think he's one of the best human beings that I know.
Dude, I've said that repeatedly on this show.
Well, but it's true.
It is.
True. He's just a good guy. He's never going to screw anybody over. He's one of the most honest.
But how many times has he done stuff for people
with no expectation of anything?
Like, I pulled up in the parking lot one day. I was getting ready to go in, and he came up my window, and I'm like, hey, man, I ain't seen you a while. Where you been? And he's like, oh, I was over at so-and-so's house. They had a electrical outlet that was bad, so I went over there, and I changed it out for him. And, it took me longer because when I took the faceplate off, I realized that I needed to mask around that and blah, 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 blah.
And so I just did these 18 extra steps to help him out.
To make sure it's the right way to do it.
That's
and this dude
Jay will do anything for anybody.
And you know what I told him? I was like, dude, shut up. I don't want to hear that shit.
Was Jiminy Cricket sitting on your shoulder saying,
no,
you're kind of a douchebag, Rob. Maybe you should be a better person.
What I was thinking was, I show up to the pearly gates, and where I thought I was in for like a slide, no problem, now the fucking bar has been raised. Because people like Jay are like...
He gets an A on the test and fucks up the curve for the rest of us.
Boom! Thank you. My B is now like...
Your B at the pearly... You think you're
my B is now like...
That's a fucking aspirational statement, sir.
I'm at a C minus.
You're fucking D plus on a good day.
I'm not going to argue. You know what? When you can't argue, there's no reason to. I'm just saying. So anyway, if you guys are interested in whatever Jay carries, call him up. I'll have the number in the show notes. Call him up. He'll ship it to you, and I promise. When you get the cigars that Jay sends you, you don't have to age them for a few weeks. You can pull them right out of the box and smoke them because he's sending you the stuff that he knows is ready to smoke. He includes humidification in the shipping. So call him up. Numbers in the show notes. Tell him that Cigar Talk said to call. Where are you going?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Co-host of the show. I don't even know if he talked this show. Did you talk?
A little bit.
Say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye.
Those dulcet tones.
He says goodbye. In case I never see you again.
As he hobbles away.
Goodbye.
Like a fucking, like a Civil War draft dodger.
You forgot your eggs.
You forgot your eggs. Jordan, you want some eggs?
Pass.
I'll take them.
Yeah, they're all yours. Go for it.
I'll be like, thanks, Brian. Thank you very much. Hey, now you're younger than me. In what way, if you were, how much of a Elvis fan were you ever in your entire life?
I appreciate Elvis for what he did for music and when he did it. And I know that there's 2 different recipes for his fried chicken, so I got that going for me.
Okay. But as far as being a fan, did you listen, or was that like after, like he was already done?
Well, I mean, he was certainly dead by the time I was born. I mean,
Sure.
He was feeding worms by the time I came around. I have listened to Elvis. I'm sure I've got some Elvis on my my phone that'll cycle through, but I don't really sit down and think I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen to Elvis's gospel period today. You know, I just I appreciate what he's done. I enjoy some Elvis songs.
So you appreciate
Yes.
like the level of stardom he had,
Oh yeah,
but at the same time, it's 2022.
that's what I'm
That
told.
sums it up.
Yeah.
So, like, completely different experience for me.
Well, yeah. I mean, you were.
I grew up in the 70s
Yeah.
when Elvis was the shit.
Yeah. Now, did you remember pre-fat Elvis, or were you kind of getting towards the latter day Elvis?
No. So, I was born in 69.
Okay.
So, when I was 5,
Uh-huh.
I was an Elvis fan. And at that time, he was not fat.
Okay. All
But
right.
within a very short few years, he went from like,
Private
stud
first class Elvis to
you're only sitting in coach with 2 chairs. But what I didn't realize was I went and saw the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking stupid because I thought, dude, Saturday night, Elvis first weekend release, this place is going to be packed.
Mhm.
It's like 16 people in the whole theater.
Right.
So I was kind of like, wow, nobody gives a shit. They did this movie too late.
Yeah, they did it too late. I mean, it would be.
They should have done it 15 years ago.
Yeah, 15 years ago, you would have had better turnout. Because I mean, you got to figure. I mean, most of the people that really loved Elvis are older than you are. You know?
Yeah. I was the last of, because
Yes.
when I was in 3rd grade, we went to the convenience store. There was 2 choices. You bought like baseball cards of Kiss
Mhm.
or collector cards of Elvis.
Yep. That
I
sounds
bought
right.
the Elvis because I was a nerd. Everybody else was buying Kiss.
Mhm.
But that was your choices.
Right.
And so when he died, it was like, holy smokes, dude's 42. You know what I mean?
It's amazing what a barbiturate, bacon, and fried,
Heroin.
banana sandwich will do to you.
Yeah, and really it's not far off from what the doctor that worked for Michael Jackson was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Very much similar.
Oh yeah. You had the
It's like, hey, you're going to go do a show. We're going to give you a shot of this.
Mhm.
Now you've been up for 2 days. We're going to give you a shot of this. You know what I mean? They were
Mhm.
just manipulating his awake cycle.
Oh well, yeah. It's the same thing with the girl that played Dorothy in Wizard of Oz. Was she died? Relative, she made it longer than Elvis did. Was it Dorothy Garland? Judy Garland.
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland. She and somebody fact check. You're getting your facts from me. You're getting it wrong. But I want to say my recollection is she died relatively young, but she was fucked up way before her death due to the huge amounts of barbiturates and cocaine and all the drugs that they were pumping her in. when they were making Wizard. Back in the 30s when we're going to work a 20-hour day, so we're going to shoot up this 16-year-old with a bucket of barbiturates and see how we go.
Let me ask you if you ever heard of this show. Have you ever heard of The Nick?
Mm-mm.
I highly recommend that you watch it.
Okay.
It's like a hospital-type theme show that we've seen a million times.
Sure.
Except that it's like setting of 1910.
Anything goes.
The surgery room actually had like an auditorium seating.
Sure.
Because they were experimenting on patients.
Yeah. They have like leeches there in case it needed good bleeding or anything like that.
Yeah. And they were trying to do a C-section.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say they like killed 6 or 7 women before they actually got it to work.
All right, guys, we know it's down here somewhere. If only we could figure out where.
Right. And so it was very interesting to see how that actually played out. And it was like it was somewhere up way northeast, say Philadelphia or something. And it was set in that time period. And I mean, they were just like, had ideas of how shit should work. And they would try it.
And it was all legal.
Yeah. But the surgeon, who was an amazing surgeon that basically worked at a hospital that didn't pay shit because they had like basically a free pass to try anything.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he's using like, I don't know, 40% of the hospital's supply of cocaine while he's doing these surgeries.
Hey. Surgeries are long, hospital shifts are long. Ask any doctor. It had to be done.
Yeah. And I need a cutter too, bro. Thank you. Anyway, I'm lighting up a Roma Craft Black Irish. Fantastic cigar. I haven't had one of these in a while. Very excited about that. Jay, you know what? I love like Jay or Scott. I just tell them, hey, go pick me up some shit. Mm-hmm. And they come back with like good shit.
I mean, you guys can't see him right now, but I can assure you that he is lighting this Black Irish cigar, undulating in his seat.
Yes, and
it's
a beautiful cigar. Like that's my favorite aesthetics that someone's come out with. You disagree?
No.
I mean, who's come out with a better looking cigar?
Nobody's come out with
you
a better
tell us.
looking cigar.
Do not weasel out of this. You tell us who's come up with a better looking cigar.
Nobody's come out with a better. Roma Craft, hands down, makes the best looking cigars.
There we go. So we had to nail them down.
Now,
they're not always the best.
The Black
cigars.
Irish,
but
is not the best looking cigar that Roma Craft makes.
And which cigar would you anoint with the best looking?
So far, the Craft 2022s. There's some cigars in that box that are freaking spectacular.
Now, would you state for the audience that you left any of those for purchase for other patrons?
I have not.
So I would like to say, though, I'm more, probably because I'm a little older, I'm very refined. But I'm going to go with, I'm more of a low-key guy, which I'm going to go with like, just a straight up Cro-Magnon. Like that's a good looking cigar.
Yeah, it's all right looking.
And it doesn't say anything other than come smoke me.
Yeah, but I don't like the Cro-Magnums.
Well, that's because you haven't graduated to the next level.
No,
yet.
I'm above and beyond. Honestly, no, the Craft 2021s and that Grand Perfecto with the little bushy tail on it, man, that is a good-looking cigar. Whether you go the Black Irish like Bryant went or the Sabertooth. I actually prefer the Sabertooth more just because I like to smoke that more.
See, I don't know the Sabertooth. I know I've had one.
Yeah.
I have zero recollection.
It's barber pulled exactly like this cigar.
Okay.
Except it's got like a Connecticut instead of a Candela.
A Connecticut?
Yeah.
In that Vitola size?
Yes. It's exactly the same. The box,
Wow.
the Craft 2021s
And how
were
strong?
alternating.
How much strength
That's a medium
of the
plus.
tobacco
That's a medium
for a
plus.
Connecticut?
Yeah.
For a medium plus,
But it's also like the Connecticut broadleaf is the main part of the wrapper with the, bits of Connecticut barber pulled into it
so the Connecticut is really more
for looks.
of a decoration.
Correct.
Okay. So I was getting excited to know that there was a Connecticut cigar out there that was driving that, medium plus to bold,
As far as flavor and nicotine,
both for a Connecticut.
Perdomo Bourbon Barrel Aged Connecticut.
I've never had
I
it.
know. You need to smoke one.
All right. You sold me because you know what?
Did you leave any of those
Yes.
behind? Okay.
Yeah, I do have one.
There's not a lot of Connecticut's that's going to take you to that level.
Perdomo can do it.
I believe that. I used to be a big Perdomo fan.
I am not a Perdomo fan except for that cigar.
Well, the funny thing is, I was a fan of everything other than that cigar because at the time that I went through their journey of cigars,
Yeah.
I'd already made up my mind I didn't like Connecticut, so I smoked everything else.
Yeah,
And I've never gone back to try their Connecticut's.
Their Bourbon Barrel Aged Connecticut is the strongest cigar in their portfolio.
Really?
Yes. According to Nick Perdomo.
You ever met that dude?
No. But I talked to Julio and Sam, and they both said that. You can
I
take
know-
one
I-
of those. You can take one of those people's word
I know Julio.
at face value.
I know Julio.
Yeah.
I don't know who the other guy is.
Brad McHenry.
Because he's dead to me. Dude's dead to me. Anyway. Yeah, that's a journey in itself.
Right.
So, and that's where everybody is on a different journey, and sometimes they like crisscross.
You've smoked porcelain. by
I have.
Black- That's
I
a
have.
strong Connecticut.
I really like that cigar.
Yeah.
I like the Salvation better.
Right, but that's not a Connecticut.
Tell me this. If I said, would you like to buy Salvation? What's that worth?
What are you,
$10.75.
the Pope now? Like, you're selling indulgences over here? What are you doing?
I'm just saying, there's a cigar.
No,
called-
I know about the cigar. What I'm wanting to know about is your byline into selling Salvation, because that's a business I could get in on.
So you weren't here for the other show.
I wasn't.
We'll
But if
talk
you would
about-
like to purchase Salvation, I want you to write to Cigar Talk Podcast
Just call the leaf.
at
Yeah.
whatever
Call
our
the
email
leaf
is,
and ask for Jay.
who is ordained, actually.
Yeah.
Although I think he would look poorly upon me saying that his ordination has anything to do with selling you Salvation, the cigar.
Well, I was on the web earlier, and I don't know about you, but do you ever like get on the web and the next thing you know, like 20 minutes in, you've gone down a rabbit hole? Have you ever done that?
I do that like 18 times a day.
Thank you. And it's awesome.
Oh, it is, yeah.
I mean,
Wikipedia is the best.
There's a lot of stuff that you might like find yourself reading up on that at the end of the day, it was not a valuable time spent. But then there's a shit ton that you're like, holy shit, I didn't know that.
Look at all the trivia I have.
Right. And it's like, how can I use this new information to rule the world? That's what I think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I think that's good. I use it so I can throw out random historical factoids at inappropriate times to annoy my friends. I feel like that's a good use of my time. Yeah, it works pretty well for me. You never know when some sort of piece of arcana about the Ottoman Empire's dynastic policies is going to be relevant, so you have to be willing to throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, being older.
You were around for the Ottoman Empire. I mean, they fell in 1918. You were, what, 6 or 7 then?
Yeah, I mean, my dad fought for him. You know?
Yeah, you look Turkish.
And you know, what he told me was, and this is before he died,
Sure.
not like some Ouija board connection.
Right, of course.
We're not
Because
on that podcast.
that's right.
Wrong podcast. We talked about that on the other show.
Sure.
Anyway, You know, I don't feel like you have to toe the line.
Me personally, or just in general?
Me. You have your own line, and whether you toe it or not is on you. And that's the way I feel all life should be. You toe your line, I toe mine.
It's getting very wise.
They don't look the same.
You're like a.
I'm like
You're like
Hare
an older
Krishna.
Buddha.
I'm like Hare Krishna.
So we go with a more elderly Buddha.
My sweet Lord.
All I know is you were not at the airport trying to hand me a flower, so I'm disappointed in that.
The Hare Krishna guys, that was overkill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, I don't think you gained a lot of people by doing that. I mean, you were trying to get on TV.
Who's going to convert when you're handing them a shrubbery when they've got one bloodshot eye and they're trying to walk off a hangover getting molested by TSA? I mean, nobody's... You're not thinking about God right then, or your eternal soul, or whatever
what
it is.
you're
the Hare
thinking
Krishnas
is, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah. I get hassled by enough people at the airport, most of them federal employees.
Yeah. I mean, last time I flew to Vegas and back out of Lubbock, Texas. Going in, TSA was cool as shit. I'm fucking making jokes that probably shouldn't be made while you're going through the line. And then when I got to Vegas on the way back, they're fucking serious. Like, you know what? We don't have time for your bullshit.
See, I got out of Vegas real easy a couple months ago.
Well, I got out easy, but I could tell that, you know, there's certain phrases that you shouldn't, like, yell out.
There sure are. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a hot tip. This is a pro tip.
I love tips. I love tips.
And I believe I'm the first person to have experienced this. I'm the first one to learn about it. So your audience is in luck that I'm going to share this exclusively with all of them.
And we appreciate that.
What you want to get is a little something called TSA pre-check. Turns out that's the thing to have, because I just finally, after a decade of being told about it, finally went and did it this year.
And how much was it?
I was like $94 or something.
On top of your regular flight?
No. You do it
Or
once.
one time.
You do it once for like 5-year stretch.
So you get like a card that says, don't fuck with me.
No, what you get is they try and fucking, I don't know if they send you a card. I got an email, and they give you a number, this known traveler number, and you basically take that, and you put it on your ticket, and so when you get your boarding pass, it says pre-check, and then it's like you're flying in the 90s. So, like, I don't take my laptop out of my shit, I just put it on the conveyor, send it through. I don't go through the spinny, nudograph device. You just go through a metal detector like a normal human being. Boy, I wish I had done that decades ago. That's the way to fly right there.
Have you read any articles about the airport face recognition system that's going into effect and is already up and running at a few airports?
I mean, no. Is it anything like the London, iron surveillance circle face recognition situation?
I do not know about that program. But here in America, some companies have paid for the technology. And so you walk up and these electronic boards with information recognizes you. Mm-hmm. And so all of your information is displayed immediately. But the person standing next to you, which also was confirmed, is seeing their information. Like, how is that possible?
Interesting.
Well, I haven't dove into it, but that's what they said.
This sounds much too technologically advanced for the federal government to do right. So,
but it doesn't mean that contractors aren't ahead of the curve.
Interesting.
Anyway,
so that recognize your face and it pulls up like what, your ticket information or like your blood and semen sample data, or what's it pulling up there?
Well, I mean, I'm not in the know.
We come to you for wisdom, Rob.
My wisdom is don't let them have that information.
Too late. They've already got everything on you.
So, no, I just am like, I'm not the government should have all my information. I'm not getting political.
No, never.
I'm just saying.
Not you.
I don't get political because I'm not like a political guy, except that I believe that every single politician is either now or eventually trying to figure out how to fuck me out of my money. And that's what it boils down to. All of them.
All of them.
Not one side or the other. They all share one goal. All the other goals don't mean shit. That's the agreement we have, because you don't want to kill babies because you want to support no more abortions. Me, on the other hand, I'm wearing a t-shirt that says I heart abortions, and the heart is actually a cartoon of a fetus's heart. You know what I'm saying?
God. Thank God you didn't get political in this episode.
Yeah, no kidding.
How did we end up going down that road? But I'm just saying.
Also, Rob, just so we're clear,
This is Cigar
that's
Talk.
a stance that you just took.
You know
I
what?
know you've had a little bit of confusion about what constitutes a quote unquote stance, but yeah, you made a statement.
I mean, wow. How did we go down this road?
Where the fuck's
You
Brian
are
when you
a
need him?
shitty co-host.
No kidding.
You're supposed to keep me on the rails.
I'm here to lead you
wrong
down the
podcast.
primrose.
We're here to
the
talk about
primrose
cigars.
path, baby.
Well, do your job.
I mean, I have. That's how we got here.
He's like, I'm going to burn Cigar Talk to the ground.
And as long as we hit the Supreme Court while we're at it, we're fine, right?
Right. And you know, whatever they say. Is it just me, or does SCOTUS, every time you see someone type that out in their little, announcement to the world of what they think is going on, remind you that SCOTUS is almost like scrotum?
I was just thinking that. I was literally just fucking thinking that.
Thank you.
And I don't like to agree with you on something that's ridiculous, but it's true.
scrotum.
I want to say this. I think this is important for everyone of your listeners to think about for a minute. Just think about this. I'm going to make love this microphone right here.
He looks like he's at a glory hole.
Oh. So, all right, think about this. We live in an age, everyone listening to this, that the first Supreme Court justice, someone alive right now is going to be on the Supreme Court, and they are going to have nude pictures of themselves out there on the internet somewhere. Think about that.
Not necessarily the whole internet.
The whole internet.
I mean,
Because-
sure, not China, not North Korea,
Right.
in case South Korea cut the router off.
How many years from now?
Just in our lifetimes. The Supreme Court, if you looked for Clarence Thomas to have nude photos out there, if that's
You
your
could
thing,
Google that.
you could go, but there's not out. He's never done that. The technology wasn't there.
No.
The
But
technology is there now that anybody under the age of 40 has taken a dick pic or a nude photo and sent it to a significant other, and that shit's out there. We are living in a time when we will be able to Google one day a naked Supreme Court justice.
We're going to have a
think-
Supreme Court justice with an
I
OnlyFans.
think you're glossing over the fact that we have a lot of dudes that are like sending unwanted
Unsolicited.
dick pics.
Well, sure.
Well, I know, but you kind of made it like dudes sending dick pics to their significant other,
Or
like, it
their
wasn't a bad
secretary,
thing.
or
but there's
or
a
whomever.
whole nother
Sure. Sure.
I mean, I would guess that the scales of justice are like, yeah, I'm trying to keep it even.
I mean, I'll be
But-
honest. I'm pretty sure I've gotten an unsolicited dick pic from you at this point. So, I mean, it's hard to say. But
Well,
yes, you're right.
I'm just going to say right off the bat, last time you came over, you kind of gave me that, that
if I
look.
wasn't,
I was like,
That's not unsolicited.
if it is wanted.
I'm sure I had a look in my eye.
I don't want.
I was
to.
asking for it, wasn't I, Rob?
I don't want to disappoint you.
There's a definition of unsolicited. We're past that.
Let me just ask you: do you believe Jodie Foster is asking you to do anything illegal?
I believe she already has a plan, and I'm going to go with her plan. I don't think that we need me and her to discuss that plan.
Sure. It's
Because
right
I
there.
understand what she needs.
Yes.
I understand what she wants.
Yes.
And I'm going to give it to her because that's what she asked for. Is that?
We have reached unsolicited.
Yeah. I mean, when you get to that point, it's like, yeah, I could see dude's a rapist.
Well, I mean, you've got because wasn't it Anthony Weiner appropriately named Weiner?
Dude,
Wasn't
is that
his
the
all
freaking best?
Oh, the
That
irony.
was the
The
best.
irony.
No, not even the irony.
No, for sure the irony.
Just
I mean,
the slap in the face that you're a fucking douchebag that your name goes with. You know what I mean? He's like,
I mean, the
Hey.
surname fits the crime
I
pretty
mean,
handedly.
I'm like, dude, was he a congressman or was he a senator?
I think he was a governor.
Okay,
Was
governor.
Or no,
if
he was a
only-
mayor. I believe
if
he's a
only we
mayor.
had the technology to figure this out.
Yeah, I think he was a mayor.
Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, I mean, with that much attention, he was a pussy because he should have been like, hey, I know you heard this about me. If you would like to know the true story, you should go to www.wienerbigtime.gov, and we will show you what actually happened, and so that you can support us going forward.
Here's the thing. All these politicians, and I got a lot of thoughts about this. So first off, I miss the good old days when a politician had to have a press conference to apologize for their bad behavior.
well,
Because it was the best thing. You had all the big bulbs and the press conference and the lectern. They get up there with their dejected-looking wife standing behind them.
And to be fair, though, like that was some form of like expectation.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
you
the political mea
expect
culpa
A guy who fucked up like that to come
Yes.
out and say, "I'm sorry,"
in a press conference.
which is
And you have to
a
have the term.
requirement.
You have to have the terms. Mistakes were made.
Boom.
I've disappointed.
Lessons learned.
I've disappointed myself. I've disappointed my family. But most importantly,
I've
I've let
pointed-
myself down.
myself because I have let you down.
Yes. Yes.
And because I have let you down, I need to let you know that going forward,
Yes.
I will not fuck you in the ass
Yes.
unless we are like bubbled, showered in the shower of prison.
But you know, you got the good
but you
old
get what I'm
days.
saying.
The good old days of the mea culpa press conference are gone. We don't get that anymore. Now we
no.
just get like the Twitter such and such has issued an
Now
apology,
we
and that's it.
get, how am I going to shift the bullshit answer into the, the standard of what we've decided we're going to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
every time.
And I'm also going to say the for the folks that
Did I say I don't want to get political?
shit, here we are. Here we are. Thank God we haven't gotten political. The other thing, and not to get political.
Right.
So, like Trump, I'm a libertarian. I wasn't a huge fan of him because I don't like anybody that's running for president. I think if you want to be president, you're not qualified automatically. That's my first thing. But I'll say this.
But at the end of the day,
somebody's
somebody's
going
going to get elected.
Somebody's going to get elected. So I always vote for the craziest motherfucker there is.
So you voted for Trump.
No. I found the guy that wore a boot everywhere. and
I thought
that guy.
Trump was the craziest motherfucker.
No, I don't think so. We can do worse. Vote for myself. There we go. But here's the thing that Trump always
I'm
had.
going to just tell you this. I've always thought it would be a fun experiment to let a dude like me or a dude like you go in there and like every day they're like, hey, what do you want us to do? Well, tell me what the fuck my options are. And then we govern and direct this country instead of like the lobbyist. How
Rob,
cool would that be,
Rob,
though?
That sounds great, but I'm going to tell you all this is.
We
It's
should
a
make
game.
that a movie.
No. You put you and me in office, and the game is how many days until assassinated. The game is impeached or assassinated, and how many days do you make it into your first term before one of those things happens? That's the game. Because I would like fire the IRS instantly. I would fire droves of federal employees. If you're a federal employee and you listen to this podcast, I'm sorry. I'd fucking fire you, though. Probably. Unless you're in the military, I'd let you get a pass.
Like I'm targeting
post office.
different.
The post
jobs.
office is mentioned in the Constitution. I'll let them hang out, but they've got to get better at it. They need to get better.
You know what? I give them 2 years, and this is the expectation. And then after that, if there's a company that's called the Pony Express and they can do everything cheaper and it doesn't cost the American people more money, then I'm going to let them run it.
So goodbye alphabet soup.
Boom.
And so, yeah, I mean, I would do crazy person shit. I'd stop corporate welfare. I'd stop, crazy wars. I'd, put the money into rebuilding our military and getting technologically where it needs to be. But I would just be doing crazy shit, like, but Goldman Sachs is too big to fail. We have to bail out. Nah, just let them fucking fall. Let the free market do its thing. Let the free market go crazy. Nature abhors a vacuum. Oh yeah, we can take my political rant out in post, right? That'll be fine.
Well, I was reading the other day, and because there's always like bullshit rhetoric that either one side or the other side is trying to throw at the other side.
Yeah.
That's just the game.
Politics.
But I was reading about how the cost of what we've done on something, I don't remember what it was. That's how detailed you're going to get on this show.
This is practically fucking BBC World News, isn't it?
Oh, hey, I appreciate the fact that you recognize that quality.
Yeah, they're getting your Pulitzer polished up in the back. It's going to be great. Go on, tell me about
what I think happened in Russia. Wow. This show's taking a turn, folks.
That's not for the better.
Whoa. And
I will be shocked if this episode ever sees the light of
I
day.
don't think it's going to.
let me tell you something. Do you realize that we do another show called the Light 'em Up Crew Show?
Oh,
And that's just for guys that are our Patreon members.
Yeah.
And so only those guys get to hear that show. And like, it's getting to the point where I'm
This
like,
is a Patreon show.
do we trust these guys enough to let them know? Like, oh yeah, they're in the know.
and this is still.
I should have went
pretty...
to prison in 1979.
Also, for the Light 'em Up crew only, Rob Jones is actually DB Cooper. So, ta-da!
When I was in Houston, there used to be a club called DB Cooper's. It was a strip club, and I never went there.
I don't believe that.
That seems
hey,
totally checks
well,
out.
I wasn't done.
You might not have worked it.
I
I never
never
went there sober.
Boom! You didn't let me finish. I was going to say I never went there sober. It was always we were at another bar. He was like, "Let's go to DB's." Dude, they had a gate. Like you pulled up down this drive, and you had to talk to like the security guy. Be like, "Hey, yeah, man, we're just going in here." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "All right, have a good night." And he raises the gate. At what point was he evaluating the threat that I might present?
Maybe he was checking out what sort of car you had. And what were you driving?
I'm going to go with the, what is the Buick Enclave?
Okay.
My vehicle had broke down.
Yeah.
And I went and rented a vehicle, and that's what they had.
Okay.
And it was a premium SUV.
Mm-hmm.
All leather,
Yes.
all the gadgets.
Rich Corinthian.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like,
So Buick Enclave, he's looking at you and he's going, well, he's just a cheap, dirty old man, but he's otherwise harmless. He'll be fine. We'll let him through. If he's doing the car evaluation,
right.
Yeah.
And, at my age,
At your age.
I wasn't that far off of being that next generation.
Yeah, so maybe that's what we're giving him the benefit of the doubt. We'll soon say. Let me ask you this, though. The place is called DB Cooper's. Tell me the staff were dressed in flight attendant outfits, and that's what their uniform was. Because, God, that is the biggest missed opportunity of this whole operation.
Yep.
I agree.
Probably why it's closed
The
now.
girls that were
I'm going to start a strip club
servers-
called DB Cooper's. It will be...
Captain Stubing. Captain Stubing. Are you too old for that?
What is that, the fucking Love Boat?
Boom! Thank you. I was afraid you were going to miss that, but you're right there, close enough.
Bailed out right at the end. Not unlike DB Cooper.
Yeah, for me, I was born in 69. So, I mean, think about it. How many people do you personally know that was alive in the 60s? 2?
Too many.
Right.
First off, I want to give you a little bit of props here.
Oh, whoa.
Every time, because you've said your birth date 2 or 3 times in this podcast so far, and your birth year.
69.
Yep, 3 times for sure now.
Boom.
And every single time he's done it, he's not made one fucking joke about it. And I have to say, the level of maturity,
You're impressed.
I'm a little astounded. Yeah.
And insulted.
There's an expectation we have from you.
Boom. I'm
know.
with you.
I
man.
know. I
So,
kept waiting for it to come out, and you just kept holding it back. And I was like,
Now,
man.
it's weird growing up in the 70s, which you can't even imagine. It's like people became like larger than life from the 60s into the 70s. And so you're just happy as fuck as that you were like conceived and birthed in the 60s.
Mhm.
And so the people who like don't get the 70s, they don't get the 60s. So you just kind of be like, all right, you get it or you don't. Like, dude, think about this. Janis Joplin,
Mhm.
Jimi Hendrix,
Oh, I mean, your music was...
Jim Morrison.
Yeah, you
with
had the music
Doors.
down. I mean,
Those
you guys had that.
dudes
No problem at all.
all died
Yes.
before they hit 30.
Yes.
And so that was like, dude, I was born
Mhm.
at this time.
Mhm.
So, I've always felt that like that was, like a sign of we're going to rock and roll. And when I say we're going to rock and roll, we're going to rock and roll all night long.
Well, maybe you'll make the same pact with the devil that Keith Richards and fucking Larry King have made and stay alive forever.
Larry King, he died.
No, is he dead?
Yes. Larry King died.
Sure,
dude.
I thought he was. Fact check that.
I want to say he died like 2 years ago.
No, I
maybe
think
3.
He's.
Google that, fact checker.
I mean, if I'm right, we're going to
you're
for
not.
sure keep this in, and if
You're
I'm
not.
wrong, we're going to take it out in post.
No, we're not. You know what? I don't do that.
Died in 2021.
God,
I told you within the last 3 years.
unbelievable!
Yeah.
Keith Richards, though, I'm right about that one.
Oh, he's still alive.
Sure.
Oh yeah, he's still alive.
I mean, that man's
Hey,
made
if-
out of leather and booze and cocaine, so I mean, he should be well preserved.
And formaldehyde.
From yes, it's the formaldehyde. We can't
He's
forget that.
78. He's
Yeah,
still
he's
alive.
78.
Looks like he's
Dude,
170.
And how about Willie Nelson?
Yeah.
Like we did a top 10 list of who we thought would die this year.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Nelson's on it. So
Okay.
it's not like I hope he dies.
But we think the the bell might be tolling for him.
Well, what I think is it's the best selection for me to gain a few more points if I'm right.
Yeah.
It's
Who else
kinda
is on the who's on the death list here?
Elton John?
Ooh.
That's a bold call. I don't
It
think
is.
so.
It is.
Yeah, I think he's going to make it.
He's got a lot of chemicals in that body.
Way.
I mean, dude, he could fucking stroke out, heartbeat out tomorrow because that dude does not take it easy. That dude is still going.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's I think he's going to pull through the year.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you're welcome to your opinion.
I
but-
sure am. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's
magnanimous as fuck.
He's on my list, okay?
All right. So Elton John, you think's going to bite it? He's not. Who else you got?
And let's just say, maybe that like Willie Nelson, Elton John's, they're kind of like, those are pretty easy picks.
Elton John's not. Elton John's not going to die this year. Willie Nelson, I could see that. Willie Nelson's.
I guarantee you, one of those two die this year.
Guarantee it.
If you got money and you're in Vegas, mark it down.
Okay.
One of those two are dying this year. And if you bet enough money and you want to share, I'll make sure of it.
All right, let me call my investment banker and move some funds around.
Right. So, and then here's my nobody saw it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
After it happens, everybody happened to know the characteristics that I should have noticed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that is, and I'm going to have to ask for my co-guy over here, Brian. Who is that rapper dude that goes against Eminem?
That goes against Eminem?
You're right. He's like, Coyote or I love a finger in my ass.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you serious? The guy that get electric guitar something. Come on, man. Come on. Y'all don't keep up with a little bit of fucking pop culture.
I'm sorry, but the hints that you've given us aren't exactly fucking... This is like the map to the Grail with no names on it. I don't know what the fuck. Golden Pantry, Dixie Cup, M&M's, Reese's. I don't know. You know the guy I'm talking about, right? What the fuck does any of this mean?
So basically, you're of the mindset of
you're gonna have to narrow that down a lot more.
I don't want to play that draw game with you.
Yeah, no hangman. No hangman here.
Can you give us something else to work from there, or is this what we got?
Give me a
no hangman. Okay, fine. That's fair. All right, I gotta have a drink.
Nick Cannon?
Yeah, that'll sort things out.
Are you talking about Nick Cannon? That's the most recent feud.
With who?
With Eminem.
Oh, no, this dude's he's a rapper that is young. Machine Gun Kelly. Boom.
Okay.
Machine Gun Kelly.
All right, hang on. Just wait the
Thank you.
Fucking hang on a second. Let's talk about the hints you gave us to get there. And then let's try and reverse engineer how we were supposed to come up with that.
Here was my thought. I thought of the dude's name.
No, you didn't.
That's what caused the problem.
And then I said, here is, and then I had wiped that name from my mind.
And then you just started fucking naming nouns, you jackass. That doesn't... Mountain.
Guy that Eminem had a feud with. Shoot stuff.
So anyway, that dude sucks.
I was hoping for more of a payoff after the journey we had to take to get
Right.
there.
That dude sucks. I'm not a fan.
Oh,
and I'm an old school rapper dude.
Sure.
Are you old school?
You could have given
do you
a color.
rap?
If you would have said that white guy that Eminem's feuding with, it would have been easy, like Machine Gun Kelly. That's the only other white rapper there is.
Well, I you know what? I
Didn't even have that.
Nothing.
Oh, look,
Nothing at all.
Tortured me.
You just gave us a list of nouns.
What is the hell is this?
I can't. Can you imagine? He's fucking with his phone right now. And I'm trying to imagine what his Google searches must look like.
God. They've got to be 3 or 4 pages long.
What? My Google searches?
Let's see. Springtime, damp, dryer sheets. Weather in Abilene. Perfect. That's what I was looking for.
Here's my YouTube history.
Oh, gee. You want to do this here? This is a public forum.
Yeah, no kidding.
Looking like it's all good, but fuck everybody but me.
Fuck everybody but me.
Wish a nigga would say fuck everybody but
This show is
me.
not making it there.
And you could be just like me. Say fuck everybody.
Are you a fan of rap?
Yeah, you get like 89 to like 99. I'm there. But,
Okay, cool. And pretty much I'm the same way.
Yeah.
It's like that's Tech Nine, and I think like for me, I don't even have to listen to any other rapper ever because they cover the spectrum of what I dig. I do try a few here and there, but
I don't
always
stay
come back
nearly
Tech
up
Nine.
on the. I don't stay up on the current. Anything that's happened in music in like the past 5 to 10 years.
You're right. It ain't real.
Yeah.
I have no clue what's happening. I mean, I don't know.
That's more or less any genre. I don't care what genre
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. I got nothing. Yeah, if it's newer than the past decade.
Yeah.
But
then
let
I'm
me tell you
pretty
something
much
that you
useless.
might not know.
But there's a lot of things I don't know.
Like there's some
I didn't know what the
artists,
fuck you were talking about a minute ago.
and there's a lot of people that would join you in that thinking process.
Yeah.
But about music, there's a lot of people out there that are creating like really good music that nobody has heard of.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's always the case, though, right? I mean, that's historically, record labels, and I think it gets out more. I say this not staying current on it at all, but I think with the proliferation of technology and the internet and all that, it is easier to get your music and your art, whatever that art form is, out to the masses in a way that, I mean, you're just some fucking guy in Abilene who now has a podcast that, at least dozens of listeners tune into. And you would have never had that.
I appreciate you like saying dozens. I usually say we have a stack of listeners in groups of 4.
Intervals of... Listen, guys, it's a group of listeners that is for sure a positive integer.
Right. And that's what we want to be.
That's all you need.
We want to be that smile of your day. You know what I mean? Oh, hey, have you heard this? Holy fuck. Like, I don't know, like, what kind of music you like to, but if you don't think this is fucking, like, talent, I am gonna skull fuck you.
Gee, don't threaten me with a good time. So there's a guy with a banjo and acoustic. We got a guy wailing on an upright bass. And then what's this guy in the back here? What's he got, a ukulele?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the dude with the guitar is, in my opinion, the best guitarist in the entire world at this moment.
Okay. All right.
And let me tell you something, dude. It was mind-blowing that a band shows up to do bluegrass and they take you way beyond what you think you know about bluegrass.
No, that's pretty solid. So how was the crowd? Big crowd?
Yeah. It was at the Toyota, music.
Here we go with those
Whatever.
sound clues again.
Right. One of those venues.
Ferrari, Dixie Cup, asphalt.
Stage.
It's one of those places that was a venue. I think, dude,
Fuck, you narrowed it down.
Thank you. And I think for like $36 a piece, I got 2 tickets. So
right.
me and my brother went. That's fucking cheap.
Oh, yeah, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, that's like you are going to see somebody who is exploding now versus in another 2 years, you can't afford to go see these people because scalpers fuck us. Do you realize that nobody, like, you want to go see a show and you're like, oh, when the tickets come available, I'm going to buy these tickets. And then they don't come available. when they come available, they're like $800 because all people, like fucking people, bought all the tickets.
You got to have a guy. You got to have a guy. Call your guy and get you the tickets right off the boat, right when they fall off the truck.
But he's still making a profit off of what he paid for.
Well, of course he's making a profit. Are you against the free market, sir?
I'm not.
I need you to make a statement on this. You need to make a stand.
A definitive statement.
I am for free speech 100%, and I am for capitalism as long as you as a business are not buying favor from the government. I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan. I'm free capitalism all day, every day. But, and I'm not pointing to any particular names of any companies, Amazon, but I think there should be protection. I mean, you go back to Teddy Roosevelt. Dude had some like very valid points of why we don't want to allow monopolies. And I mean, dude, if you don't think Amazon is like spearheading a monopoly, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. You're on your bass boat and don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. First off, I'm insulted you think I would ever own a bass boat. I'm a yacht kind of guy. Secondly,
and to be fair, I wasn't referring to you, because if I would have thought of you, I would have either been like with a yacht or a submarine.
Oh, I do love a good submarine.
I heard that about you.
Yeah, I like a good submarine. You know, it's fun. I'm going to send you a link to a blog I wrote here recently. I think for the 4th of July for work. Because
how often do you write on this blog? Because I have read your blogs once before.
Yeah.
How often do you write?
So they let me. I say they. Jonathan, who is my subordinate, he works for me, allows me to do it. I think once every like month and a half to 2 months to let me do a blog, because my blogs tend to go a little off the rails. You know, from a business standpoint, it's a little. You know, it's supposed to be a fun one, not a super hardcore one, but I tend to go a little political, a little crazy, and so you have to be kind of, you have to have a minder to keep me reined in.
And so, like, what is your target audience on that? Are they, like, down with your way of thinking, or are they, like, listening going, this dude's fucking crazy?
Well, we get a lot of web traffic for what it is. So what my target audience is, I couldn't really say, because I don't think about my audience when I write this. I just put whatever damn thing pops into my head.
And I think that is actually a bonus. And I say that.
I like to think so.
I like to think that because when you do a podcast and people are like, really down for what it is that you're doing, it's like we're on the same team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus, there's always a villain in some podcasts, and we all join in hands to hate that guy because he's the villain. I'm thinking maybe you could come aboard and be that guy.
All right. Did you get that?
What? You text me something?
I did.
Oh. Well, all right.
Assuming I've still got your correct number, because I know
I
have your number and then I forget that I have it because I'm a good friend.
This is Jordan's Ranch.
Yeah, look at the picture.
Petrol Ledger.
Petro.
Jesus.
Look at the picture. Look at the picture on that, though. That's what I sent that to you for. Look at the picture on that.
Hey, don't be judgmental. I confused it with Pedro. I need Pedro's ass over here to fix my lawnmower. Is that
Petro to run it?
I need Petro, yes. Yeah. So what do you think about the gas prices? Before we go, we're almost done here.
We are.
But before we go, we don't talk a lot about a lot of shit. We're going to change that.
For having filled the air quite nicely for the past little while, we've accomplished so little.
We've done a lot of fluff.
You've said some things that you've made some stances, and I'm proud of you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. My thing is, where I draw the line, and I don't draw the line often.
I know that about you.
I prefer to hop or skip over the line. That's where I like to be. That's where my comfort zone.
Yeah, I've always thought of you as exploding through the line like the Kool-Aid man through a wall. That's always kind of the video.
That's not me. My venue is we're having fun.
Yeah.
You're with me.
Yeah.
You're with me. Let's just, ease into this next phase.
No.
And Brian says no.
You explode through it like the Kool-Aid man. I'm correct about this.
That's 100%.
Okay. Well, maybe the way I thought I was doing it is wrong.
You're not tiptoeing, Rob.
Apparently, people are not wearing pajamas. It's not 2 PM. Okay, sometimes I don't think about email.
My God, man, do you go out looking for work dressed like that
Right.
on a weekday?
Whew. Hey.
So gas prices.
No.
Gas price. Thank you, Brian.
Let's
Thank
get
you,
Yeah,
Brian.
so I mean,
Where are you at on why is gas so high? Why is gas high right now?
Okay.
You actually
Yeah.
are part of the industry in a non-operational type role.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I am oil and gas industry,
Right.
But I'm not in the
You're not in the
exploration or
operations,
production.
right.
Yeah, I'm adjacent to that.
So
here's
what's your view?
Yeah.
Why is gas so fucking high?
okay. So I'm gonna try and nutshell this down. So I'm gonna gloss over some details.
And I'm a big fan of nuts.
It's what attracts me to our friendship.
Avoid 69. Has to bring up.
I was
know,
born
I know.
in '69.
I know. Not a single joke.
It's because it's not a joke.
Oh,
Hey,
there we go. We got the signal.
Did Jay say wrap it up?
He said wrap it up. He said
wrap
shut
it
it
up.
down.
Okay, hey, thanks for listening, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you the secret about the gas prices
wait
next
a minute.
episode.
Wait, no, let's finish this out, and then we'll go.
Until next time. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa. Till next time, grab your scrotum and pull it up over your head. And then blow a bubble.
Gas prices.
Oh,
Gas
you
prices.
really want this to happen? Okay,
I want
I'll
to
make
know
it-
what you're in the industry.
Okay.
You're in
So-
the actual industry. And so I have a theory of my own,
Okay,
but you're in the industry
Yeah.
in a roundabout way.
Not very
wanna
roundabout, but yeah.
I want to know what your thoughts are.
okay. So here's the very truncated nutshell how we got here. A couple of years ago, right before COVID, you had a price war between Russia, surprise, surprise, and OPEC. Okay, and there was basically a race to see who could produce more, which caused a glut globally of gas supplies. And this started months, right before COVID hit. And so you have this huge push of how much gas can be, how much oil, petroleum products, all that can be produced at a super high level, and it's driving the prices down, which causes problems for American producers because obviously when you think about Russia and especially OPEC, most of those are government subsidized operations. The government can make the price whatever it wants because they can eat the losses as much as the government feels like eating them. And that was kind of the gamble that OPEC was taking. So anyways, this drives the prices way low. Then you have COVID hit. Demand drops down massively. If you know anything about the supply and demand curve, if the actual curve of demand moves, it shifts, dramatically to the left. And so basically what you wind up having happen is COVID hits, demand drops. There's already a huge glut. You couldn't pay people to come and take the gasoline off your property, which causes.
And let's back up just for a second because before COVID, when America basically figured out how much oil and gas, gas we could get when we started fracking. It the supply was everybody was in.
Well, yeah, so there were two elements to that. So one, there was figuring out the trick to fracking, and then there was the figuring out the trick to fracking economically. Because in 2000, 2017, 2016, 2018, it cost about, in order to turn a profit, you had to, in this country, drill, you got to be selling it around for WTI somewhere in the ballpark of $65 to $70 a barrel to turn a profit.
And back in
West
my
Texas
youth,
Intermediate.
it was like $60 a barrel. If you could hit 60, you were making
fracking's
money.
more expensive because it's a more in-depth process.
Right. But the amount of gas available if you frack is way higher.
Well, gas and petroleum product, the whole package.
Right.
But the point is, what also got us there is we figured out how to do it more cost effectively. So, anyways, you have all that. You have COVID hit after the price war between the Saudis and Russia. And effectively, once COVID hits, everything goes negative because there's way more supply than there is demand. Nobody's driving anywhere. There was already a glut. And so, boom, prices
And now
go
we're
negative.
paying companies to store 500,000 barrels at sea.
Well, we're not. That happened during COVID. You're not saying that happened a whole lot now. So what's happening now is you've got an issue with there's a war going on in Europe, and so there's a lot of disruption in the European market because several European countries are sanctioning Russia. They're not going to buy their petroleum products from Russia. You've got Iran, which has a pretty healthy ability to supply that it's they're not allowed to sell to a lot of people, and then you've got. We have economic issues where people are starting to return to normal life post-COVID, and the production's not keeping up with it. And so, of course, one option is, OPEC can produce more.
Well, let's slow down a moment. Because you are glossing over.
Well, I had to do this in brief since we had to wrap it up. So, I can give you a treatise.
Yeah, and you know what? We will come back around and do that at another time because I would be very interested into diving into what these policies actually made happen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because we were running wild, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, if you can do business, then we would love to have you do business. Mm-hmm. And then it became where people still weren't getting out, but it was like, oh, we really want you to get out. So what can we do to spur on your business? Yeah. That type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it with, private equity and venture capital being a lot, if you go back even a little bit, whenever there was, oil and gas is cyclical, right? Like there's always, it goes up, then it goes down, then it goes up, then it goes down. I've been in that industry for, I guess, 8 years now, and I've already been through like 2 or 3 of these, downturns and upturns.
See, when I graduated, a buddy of mine joined the oil field. Mm-hmm. It was like 1988. I graduated in 87, but in 88, he fucking went to Midland, Texas and did his thing, and he was making bank.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because those guys make bank for what they do, and they've never had that type of opportunity before. Mm-hmm. And then, within 18 months, that guy no longer has a job.
Yeah.
And this is a cycle that happens over and over and over.
Yes.
So there is money to be made in the oil industry as a worker, but you can't count on that year round. For long term, at least you have to factor
when you're talking
into
about like the roughnecks and the folks that are actually out working the rigs. Keep in mind you're hired to go out and drill a well. Well, once the well's drilled, it's kind of just drilled, right? It's there for a long time, and at that point, then it's the operations crew that has to come in and actually make sure that it's producing and all the back end.
I have a guy that has family in that industry, and they were told, we're going to put on classes at Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. It's a 30-day class. Mm-hmm. You come and you take this class, and we will give you this certificate. And now you can be the mud tester of the drills. Mm-hmm. That dude immediately is making $90,000 to $100,000 a year for measuring what's in dirt.
Well, all right. Glossing over like all the like that's okay.
Hey,
okay,
you know what?
We'll go with that for a minute.
Hey, great job. You're going to pay me $100,000 a year to tell you what's in this mud?
Those mudloggers don't make that much money.
I know some that do. And
That's all based on overtime, though.
They work because they work 2 weeks on, 1 week off. Dude, the second week is all overtime.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's a huge amount of risk when it goes into oil field operations, and so the costs are higher, which means the potential payout's higher, right? If you go out and you're an investor and you say, hey, I'm going to put money into this operator, go drill a well because I think there's some oil down here. Well, if you spend 6 months drilling 10,000 feet down and you make a dry hole and there's nothing there, you've spent
$1 million. That's what it costs to have a well up and running is $1 million.
$1 million. That's lowballing it these days.
Well, I'm saying the bare minimum just to get it up and running.
Sure. If I'm putting it in your backyard, maybe. But the point is, you're talking about huge sums of money for what it is, and no matter how good your geologists are, there's still a little bit of a gamble that could be fucked up. There's also a whole lot of other things that can happen, like we hit a rock formation we can't get through, or we have all these other problems, and that's
and now
not even.
You got to move the well
not
over
even
500 feet,
sure,
and try again.
And
but
that's
it's
not even
money.
tackling the regulatory requirements to get the permits to drill there. And before you even get to dealing with the government and getting permission to drill someplace, you then have to get all the surface landowners and the mineral interest owners to sign on board to do this, which means tracking them all down, which, because of the way
That's
that...
easy. when you have like multiple generations that all got a piece of the pie.
It's not that difficult. That's what I do.
Well, but for someone who doesn't know.
There is a lot of legwork that can go into it.
Right.
So you're a landman?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got all that stuff that has to happen before. You got to get everybody signed on board. You have to everybody agree to the DOI amounts and make sure their percentages are correct.
Yep.
And then you've got to get, the landman's beak wet with an override interest. And, then you've got to go get all your filings, and you got to find investors willing to put money into drilling this well. And then you got to drill it and hope the fucker works and actually produces. And then once it's producing, you've got to, deal with the bitchy, the one person that's fifth cousin twice removed. Hey, I got a 90-cent check and it should have been a 98-cent check. And why is that? You know what I'm talking about. And
I got a
so,
1/17th interest in this property.
Yes. And so, there's a lot of just bureaucratic legwork in this country that goes into drilling a well.
Oh, absolutely.
That you don't have in a place where the
where
where the
gives
emir,
a shit.
where the emir just says it's all mine anyway, so put a fucking well there and open up the taps. Yeah. So, anyway, I could go into a whole diatribe about this.
You think whenever they think they have found another spot in Saudi Arabia that they're like, are you sure?
Yeah, I don't think it really works like that. I think they just decide this is happening and they do it because, monarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is a power play in itself.
There you go.
And
so here we are on the eve of 4th of July, and Rob Jones is advocating a return to the monarchy.
I wouldn't say that. I'm not British. I'm Irish. So going back to the homeland isn't going back to the homeland for me.
It depends. Which side of the fence are you on?
Well, I'm on the side of the fence that Europe tried to fuck us.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong answer. You either support the Irish in wanting to be their own people, or you're wrong. That's your two choices.
He says this. The irony is he says this to the Palestinian guy.
I'm telling you the only right way. You don't need to question it. Yeah.
There we go. That's a wrap. We've done good work here today.
So anyway, guys, hey, we got sponsors down in the show notes. Make sure you check out their links. If there's a promotion code, use the promotion code. You'll get a discount or you'll get some free. Or if there's nothing available and you still use the promo code, Brian. Other than that, man, I hope you have a great week. Until next time. Keep smoking. You gotta go. Oh, that was actually pretty good. I just got a chub.
About the clouds when we're together. Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet.